My darlings, it is time for you to get out your tinfoil hats. We're going to go down the bunny trail on this one, and it is about the missing scientist. Now, there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. Definitely. And, if you want to get your snacks and drinks and everything else, you're more than welcome to do that because, probably because the further we go down this bunny trail, maybe the further we'll go, right? So today is the missing scientist. Now, what is this all about? I'm going to tell you right now, my darlings, and this is a concept you already know, but I'm going to bring it out, and that is what you are seeing is what you are supposed to be believing. Not only that, what you are seeing with these missing scientists, I'm going to just put it that way. The ones who are no longer with us, the ones who are missing, the missing general, the missing people, that's the end result. That's the end result. Will we be seeing more of this? Buckle up, because most likely, yes, we will be. You see, there's a particular structure that is going on now with this whole thing. And that's what is a little unnerving, because I want you to know this structure is called, and I'm not going to write that down, okay? This structure is called a Nephilim structure, because there is a super consciousness above a lot of these things. These scientists were not only looking into AI. Now, AI is the least of their thought processes. They're looking into collective consciousness. They're looking into anti-gravity. But you know what else they're looking into? Time. And I don't mean a clock. I don't mean that 1 Minute Manager little book that we got back in the 80s or 90s. Those were good, by the way. What we're looking at is a manipulation. These scientists, and if you read their story and what they're talking about, each one of them were looking into some type of manipulation of these things. AI, time, gravity, consciousness. And I'm going to tell you something. Someone stumbled upon something here. And here's Petey walking through. I don't think you can see him. Oh, he's going to mess with the lamp. Go, buddy. Someone stumbled across something that was just too much. It was just too much for him to see. No. Give me a second, everyone. That was a nice little visit. Because what happens is they cannot take a chance. Who are they? Well, the structure. We're going to put it that way. We're going to call it that. The collective structure cannot afford to have people opening doors, starting to want to manipulate time, AI, seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing, opening doors that they should not be opening into consciousness, anti-gravity, because these are things that we are not supposed to know right now. And frankly, if these scientists and these people were opening these types of doors, it most likely were rattling them. Because why? Because not only they and their scientists, but we, the collective of us, are not supposed to see it. Because we couldn't accept it. Our minds are conditioned in a certain way from birth depending upon the century that we are born in. Now, someone from the last century, 2 centuries ago, certainly couldn't conceive our lives in this century. But you know what? We now cannot conceive what is ahead of us. I know. Now, it's no excuse, and I'm not making light of it. What I'm sharing with you is this is so much more. Now, what I really want to tell you is, and we've touched on a few of these little things here, I'm going to say in the last few weeks. There is a portal, my friends. Ugh. Oh, my pen likes to poop, but that looks good. There's a particular portal in a forest. You like my trees? Can't see the forest for the trees. That is protected. This is a known military thing, okay? I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you where it is. And the reason why is, first of all, you can't even get to it. If you would happen to be able to get to it, it's being guarded by the military, and you won't get through it. And if you get caught, there's probably a good chance you won't come back. Because they have been using this portal, and no, it's not CERN, and no, it's not anything else. This is this portal in the woods. And they'd have 24-hour guard on this thing. Beyond military, I'm just going to say that. Now, these things exist. And it's very hard for our collective consciousness to understand it. Because we have been squelched into beliefs. That's why there are certain religious beliefs that squelch us. There are certain cultural beliefs that squelch us. And until you don't have to break away from what you believe, but until you kind of step aside and you can run parallel to where you're thinking about what else is going through our minds and what else is going through in this world, in the collective consciousness. Most people walk around with blinders on their whole life, being manipulated by one thing or another. And you know what? It's okay, because sometimes I feel that those blinders are there to protect us, because most can't fathom. Most can't understand. Now, who is the structure? They call it a Nephilim structure. The Nephilims, back in the biblical days, were those children who were a product of the fallen angels and by human women. They are stuck. They were stuck because they were seriously and literally born to where they cannot get into heaven because they're a byproduct. God warned about it, and he caused the flood to get rid of it. But people didn't listen. So now they have what is called a Nephilim structure. Are these really Nephilim? I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't care. I don't want to, it's not that I don't care, I don't want to find out. Let me put it that way. But a Nephilim structure basically is telling us, if it's a Nephilim, anytime you hear Nephilim, you know it's gone down the dark way. Because, listen, we humans here on earth have free will. Since the moment we were created, we have free will. There are some humans that do not have that moral compass to say no, or can't say no, because there's more to this than meets the eye. And in their eyes, in their minds, this is going beyond much more. And when they feel that they can have it all, because see, here's the thing, my darlings. Many people don't think of an end game. What happens to us when we leave this meat suit body and we move on? I, for one, have a particular belief. Many of you do. But there are some that feel that when you're done, you're done. You go into a hole and that's it. They might be surprised. But having this, because here's what we're looking at, my darlings. You're looking at the end game. Because by the time all of these things have happened, it's kind of too late. It's kind of too late. Just like with David Wilcox and just like with General oh gosh, I can't even think of his name right now. Pardon me, General. But Major General and David Wilcox and many others. And the irony of this is that many of them, aren't they from ancient aliens that program? So, my darlings, this isn't all about technology, all right? This isn't all about the UAPs and the UFOs. And for all of you who grew up, sorry, I'm from the 1900s. We call it flying saucers. And I laugh because just think about that, what that name means. But think about this. Think about, and because now, my darlings, now, because these were things 20 years ago, 50 years ago, that some scientists were laughing about. Oh, portals. Oh, the paranormal. Because I'm going to tell you something. The paranormal kind of sort of reaches up into physics, quantum physics, and so does religion. And believe me, it can make you really stand there and scratch your head. When you're thinking of the end game, my darlings, the end game for these people, because basically the structure had to do something, because some of these scientists found things that they were ready to release to the public. So as far as the structure is concerned, these people needed to be contained. Because life in the world isn't ready. Now, I'm not saying that they deserve this. Boy, by all chance, no, they do not. And I think a lot of these people stumbled across this to the point where, I don't know if you know this or not, but some of the military, and there's one congressman, and I actually know him, and my friend in Tennessee knows him very well. He basically says there is a UFO or a UAP, whatever you want to say, in the ocean that is probably 5 times the size of a football field. Releasing this type of things, people would start fainting and falling out and being so scared they couldn't handle it. So what do we do? What do we do? First of all, I think we're going to have to be the ones to put blinders on to a certain degree. Not to the point where we ignore what's happening to these people. But what we do is that creates a filter. And we've got to put that filter on. Because if you can only take so much, you can only take so much of it. And you bottom line just basically say, look, I'm not going to overload my donkey with all of these things, or my camel, or my horse, or my elephant. You're not going to overload your mindset. What you're going to do is say, okay, these are things to look into. Right now, I'm going to take care of myself, because that's the most important thing for you to do right now. All of this, I'm going to tell you, has been going on since the beginning of time, and especially since the 13th and 14th centuries. It's just that we didn't hear a lot about it. And when people were getting into it, like Leonardo da Vinci and like others, they hid it within their art. They hid it within their research, because otherwise they would be arrested, because people can't handle the truth. So I just want you to know, we're probably not done yet. How many are there? Well, we're now in double digits. And I think as of yesterday, I'm thinking that there's maybe 13 or 14 people that are gone or missing. So what we have to do now is pray that whomever opened up that structure of the portal of information that is coming through to these people be closed. Be closed until they can release it. Because here, look, in February, the president said he was going to be opening up these alien files. Pete Hegseth said he was going to be overseeing it with the Pentagon. I think they're going to have a difficult time with this. Because here's the thing. Like I said, we have all been conditioned. No matter when we're born, we've been conditioned that things are the way they are because they are. Are these people coming back? No. Are some of them, maybe that ones were taken, still alive? There's a good possibility that they are. Are they contained in whatever fashion or structure has wanted? My darlings, it is no secret that there's a much bigger entity overseeing things. Bigger than kings, bigger than presidents, bigger than this, bigger than that, bigger than the Pope. And it's starting to come to light. Now, this isn't made to make you fear. It is here. What I want you to do is try to help you understand that there are things, and sometimes I'm going to say these things are kept from us for our own good, and rightfully so. I think in some regard it should be, until people get the proper counseling, until people get educated enough where they can really handle it. But I'm going to tell you, protect your mindset, protect yourself. Let whomever have the portals, let whomever have the structure, let whomever have the AI and the flying saucers and the time and the gravity and all these other things, let that happen. Just let it happen. Just let it happen, because guess what? It's been happening. It's been happening. You're having a problem now because it's just now brought to light. And what you're seeing is the end result of a problem that has been started, I'm going to say a couple of decades ago, minimum. And it's just now coming to light. And there had to be this containment. So let's get the cards out. Let's get the cards out. Let's see. Because I think you have to understand that a lot of these things are not human. And I believe that this structure, in my opinion, it might be human, and it also may be a collective group of non-humans. There's decision making, and that's what I want you to know. Because, see, I think that's why a little while ago, that big mess that came out that NASA was announcing that there was not going to be any gravity, what was it, August 6th or August 12th or something, for just a few minutes and whatever, that would just destroy Earth. It would destroy Earth, and that is not the truth. But I'm also going to tell you something, okay? That was a cat that you heard. I'm also going to tell you this. That was a cat too. That sometimes little things like that are leaked to the public to help get everyone acclimated to what may be happening behind the scenes. Now, do I believe that we're going to lose our gravity in August? No, I do not. But do I believe that they're trying to deal with something that is anti-gravity? And do I believe that they're dealing with something with time collectiveness and time travel? That's the one that I'm really interested in. Quite frankly, I'm going to tell you, is the time travel. And don't think that people haven't been time traveling, because they have been. It's just they haven't perfected it. But we're coming to a time that it will. Let's get the cards. Here we are back again, my darlings, and I've got a mixture of cards today. House of Zelda, What Lies Beneath. Now, these cards, sometimes there's misspelling in them. We know what it means, so we're going to overlook the grammar of it all. Grandma's Gypsy Witch. We have the fire element. I have some new cards coming. Actually, I have my own deck and a deck of the Misters. And I'm going to show you when they arrive, how I prepare a deck and all that good stuff. And I'll start using one of those decks because I need to start giving this one a rest. He's been at it just about every day. And I got to give him a little rest. So with that being said, let's ask some questions. Now, by the way, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, hype it if you can. That really helps me, and I appreciate it. And I want to thank you for coming into my live stream last night, because that was a real success, I think. And I had a lot of fun, and I know you all did too. That's the first card. Here is the second one. Travel. Time travel. Hello. And look where the card came open. The little bunny trail. Seek higher wisdom. And there's a wisdom card. So yeah, honestly, I certainly am looking forward, because I want to know. And I think if you want to know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't let fear hold you back from the truth. Look at that. Isn't she cute? I just loved her when I made her, that little sweet pea. All right, here we are. Now, this is very interesting. And it's very interesting for this reason. Give me a second. I've got to get Moisha. I don't want to forget Moisha. This wisdom is needed card. A few things. We see a full moon in the background, but it almost is faded out of there. because the emphasis is on this beautiful owl and the wisdom of the owl. The owls represent so many things, but here's what the owl does. Not only is he wise, but he's wise because he sits in quiet. He never makes a big thing about it. You hear him every now and then. I think it's very comforting to hear an owl many times. Answer the call. Now, don't you love that telephone? I love that when I put that on there. Answer the call means not so much are you going to be getting contact. No. What it means is you can take this as the call. Answer. Look into it. Find out what you feel. That's what it's about. Do a little bit of research, because you know something, when you take control like that and you do your own research, guess what? You feel better because you do feel like you're taking control of your situation. Travel. I'm going to say not only is this travel, but this could be time travel. But this is all about ready to go far and wide. And imagine what we're coming to. Imagine what another 4 years are going to be. 2030. Missing information, the key to unlock information. We have a big key here. And isn't that amazing? But we have a big key here to unlock information. And that is called research. It's called finding out, as my cat walks across things, finding out exactly what you need to know to make you comfortable. Because, my darlings, I'm going to tell you something. We are only told what we are supposed to know. That's it. That's it. Like General McCaslin. Yeah, that's his name. General McCaslin's wife only told certain things that she knew. But do you think she knows more? I do. I do. And she knows better than to what to say it. The White House says that they're going to be starting an investigation. Congress. You know what I'm going to say? Those things, it's like watching a movie. And in some regard, it might just be for us to feel better about it. They want to get the FBI involved. Well, do I think that that's really going to be anything but making the public feel that something is being done about it? No. I don't believe that it'll be too much of anything except congressional hearings, maybe the FBI looking into it. But what are they going to do when they find something? They're certainly not going to make it public. Because what if they stumbled into something that was really beyond? They're not going to tell the public. So that's why I'm inviting you today, my darlings. Just do what you feel is best you can do for you. Search what you can do, and just know that there's a higher power, but not like what you think. Look at this. These two cards are amazing. Let's see which they are, because they are in this deck. And what is the vibe? Antisocial, in your feelings, silent treatment, and being left out. This is an invitation for you. This is an invitation for you to just, I'm not going to tell you to be quiet about it, but I'm also going to tell you to just stay calm, step aside, be in your feelings. Make sure that you can handle this, because I'm going to tell you, my darlings, there's more to come. And most likely we're going to hear of it this week. A fake apology. I had something to say about that. A situation is about to unfold. Yep. And the scheisse is about to pop off in flame. Pretty much it's about to come to a head. So you just make sure you take care of your own self. Things will be like a movie and will be destroyed, shattered, broken, and totally messed up. I want to tell you something about this fake apology. And it just brought something to light. Now, this may be off the reading a little bit, but I got to tell you something. You see, I'm in a business where nobody comes to me when anything is great. Do you know that? It's like being a lawyer, a doctor. Nobody comes to check on you. And many of you do. I'm not going to say that you don't. That's not the point. When anyone wants to talk to me, it's not because they're having a great day. But many times people are in explosive situations in home, in life, domestic, and the scheisse hits the fan constantly with them. And you know what I hear? Well, I don't care about anything else. Are they going to apologize to me? And sometimes people get so hung up on someone else apologizing that they forget really what it is. And when this card came out, I want you to know something. That is not what you should seek in a situation that even could be tumultuous. Or, I want closure. I want him to apologize. Well, it's been 20 years. He's moved on. He's married. He's had kids. Yes, but he needs to apologize. Don't be that. Don't be stuck on that, because quite frankly, here's the thing. You don't want people to apologize just to be apologizing, because guess what was going to happen? If they apologize, you know what you're going to say? Well, they apologized, but they didn't mean it. Are they going to mean it? They just need to apologize again. Stop. Here's what you really need to know about apology. People don't apologize if they don't mean it. People don't apologize for things because they take responsibility, because most likely they don't. What you have to do is move on, because you know you've done the best you can do. And that person who cannot apologize doesn't deserve you sitting and wondering when they're going to apologize when it's not even crossed their mind. That should tell you what you're dealing with. Okay, lesson over. Lesson over. That was tough. All right. So now, we're talking about starting this week. Will things come to a head? Yes. Are you going to hear about more? Yes. There are things coming about. My darlings, that are working behind the scenes right now. And the storm is about to hit. Now, this is a card of worry, this Six of Clubs. But this lightning, I want you to know we're going to start having storm anomalies. Storms unlike this year, this spring, this summer, storms unlike we probably have never even seen or heard before. Could that be manipulated? I don't know. It could be. That's my question. And I think it might be a way of conditioning, but just be aware. Don't be surprised when things start happening. Here's what I'm going to say. Sometimes we're so worried about things. We can't even pick our head up. We are just constantly looking down. I want you to start looking up and around, and I want you to especially to start looking up. See Moisha's little hand? Start looking up in the sky. Start looking around. Become aware of your surroundings. This Four of Diamonds is a card that pretty much says, oh, you better wait and see. Don't poo-poo it yet. Don't doubt it. This diamond is all about an air sign, air element. Look up. It's all about air communication, thought processes. This dog is all about friendliness and loyalty. But it also can be a card that basically says you better be aware of unexpected enemies. What does that mean? Well, you have to be in a position where you can understand that all things are not going to be butterflies and rainbows. Will we have unexpected enemies here coming? I'm going to say I'm not a prepper type. I'm not that, hey, because, gosh, do you remember, what was it now, 6 years ago when this thing came? I couldn't find a roll of toilet paper to help me, right? Many were like that because there were other people who were just, I bet they have that same roll of toilet paper because they've been nothing but hoarding. And you don't want to do that. But you want to be prepared. And always be prepared. I'm going to say about every 3 weeks. Now look, I know some of you are going to say, Zelda, you're scaring me to death. Are we supposed to be doing that? No, we're not supposed to be doing anything except thinking. You're always supposed to be prepared. Do you know back in the 50s and 60s and even the 70s, we had pantries? And you know what the pantry was full? It wasn't filled with the Cheetos for the hot Cheeto girls. It was filled with canned goods that our families canned. Home canning. And you know what? We never had to worry about things. We ate from our canned goods. You see, that's what it's all about. People only think that they need to do that because there's a disaster coming. No, you need to do that because that gives you a way of life. The heart. Now, this is a really good card because it basically is saying you get your heart in the right place, you get your mind in the right place, and you're going to all make it through. Again, I'm not saying anything is going to happen. I'm not saying you need to be prepared. What I'm saying is, I want you to all start thinking. Thinking for yourselves. Anytime you see that someone is missing, someone is this, someone is that, I want you to start thinking and not be scared. Not write to me, oh, Zelda, you need to be careful. Of course I'm careful. But what you need to do is not fall away, not faint, not be that hothouse lily that just goes into nothing when something happens. You're going to make it through. This is all about the missing scientists, but it's all about coming out your social media skills, and I want you to be very careful. Because people will start saying things about things, you know what I mean. As an example, look at the Nancy Guthrie case. My goodness, some of the things that I see people say that's going on with her is just not only wild, but in some cases ridiculous. So get back to basics, start thinking about things, and guess what? Start down this new path, because you've got a heart here that is near a new path. And you know what this card means, this Nine of Clubs? It means that you know your own self-worth. You know your own self-worth. You know what you're worth. And you are worth taking care of and not worrying about things that you cannot control. Everything is going to end up okay. We will have answers soon enough when we can handle it. It's very unfortunate, these situations where people go missing because they're doing things where they're told to do. This particular king represents someone who is in charge, and no, it's not a president, it's not a king, and it's not a pope. It is someone behind the scene. Because here's the thing, my darlings. What you don't know is there are secret societies. And I know all of you are going to flood my comments now about this society, this. Well, no, you cannot, because I'm going to tell you why. They're not so secret, are they? If you know about them and you're putting them in the comments, well, they're not so secret. These are the secret societies that do not recruit. These are the secret societies that they inherit. These are the people that determine things. Now, this is a card of superstition. It's a card of no difficulty getting your point across. It can be a card of feeling imprisoned, meaning it can mean that, well, you're kept away, and it could mean that sometimes you just feel like you can't break out of the mindset. But this here represents that whole mindset of no, gonna hold you back, going to not put things into perspective for you. Okay? Yeah, I'm talking a little cryptic. Because this, guess what this card means? It's all totally suspect. It's all suspicion. And that's what you have to be all the time, suspicious. Be suspicious of this stuff. Because I'm going to tell you something, my darlings. I don't know if you know this, but there's underground particular monastery in Europe, and no, I'm not going to tell you where it is, that are holding demons, that are holding fairies and imps and fays. They're holding much worse. And I want you to just know that those things are imprisoned for a reason, and it's to keep them from getting out into the public. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They've been there for, I don't know, a couple of 100 years. So don't be afraid of that. Be afraid if they got loose, but they're not going to. They're very well hidden and held. And guess what is holding them? Iron. Iron. Iron sharpens iron. I know most of you are going to say, Zelda, have you completely lost your... No, I haven't. It's just, sometimes it's hard when... You see, I'm on this side of the aisle. This had, for my life, for a couple of centuries now, for my life has been... I grew up with a particular knowing. And when you do that, it's very hard not to share the knowing. Because most people can't handle the truth, can't handle it. And it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes, listen, there are some times when I'm studying and I'm reading and I'm meditating and things come up and I seriously sit and think, What in the absolute heck? What are we living amongst? But you know what? You got to trust. You got to trust humanity. And you got to trust yourself. Now, what is under this card? What are we to see? Hater. Oh yeah, I'll probably get a lot of those today. But the haters, I think this goes beyond. I'm going to leave it that way. I think it just goes beyond the hate. Because you know why people hate? Because they really are not informed. They hate because people just don't. It's very hard for people that hate to understand the truth. You see bullies. We've got bullies all over. Bullies, hater. You know, I cannot give them the time of day. You don't like it, don't announce yourself, just go. That's all you have to do. Look harder. Yes. I like that. Because you know what? Well-informed is your ticket in this, my darlings. Well-informed. Ooh, I almost lost a card here. Hello. All right. Oh, the extra joker. Many things are hidden. And I didn't touch on this card. My apologies. This is the fall or the autumn card. But most importantly, this is a card of contentment and containment. Be thankful these things are contained. I'm just going to say it. Be thankful that these things are kept away until we have more knowledge that we can understand. And I'm so sorry that these people have gone missing, and even worse. The ones that are missing, we don't know. They could be contained and they could be held. We don't know. They could have been taken for a greater purpose. We don't know. Will we ever know? I don't think so. That part of me, I want you to know this. Sometimes I can see into things, sometimes I can't. This situation, it's collectively, consciously blocking me. And it's because I'm not supposed to know. So why would I dig in any further and cause myself grief? I'm not supposed to know. Not yet. Not yet. Oh. This is the death card. It's the ending card. It's the loss. It's the legal issue. It's the retribution, if I can talk today. I have been doing plenty of talking, haven't I? It's the ending, but not only that, it's the winter timing card. I think people collectively started going missing this winter and now coming into the spring. We're going to hear more of this. But the death card, my darlings, can mean more than just a physical death. It can mean a complete ending. It can mean this ending of, it could mean a split-second ending. I'm going to say that, but I want you to know what happens after an ending. It's a brand new beginning, a brand new day, a brand new time, and that's what we're in. I also want you to know this because, many people have this fear of changes in technology and everything else. In my lifetime, I've seen a lot of changes in technology. Everything from ATM cards coming about to cell phones and, iPods. Remember the iPods, iPads, all these different electronical things, right? And each time one of those things happened, there were those who could not understand and who could not make that technology shift. Now, certainly cell phones and, ATM cards are not the same as missing people. But there's a common denominator, and that common denominator is that was brand new. Those things were brand new. And I remember my grandmother struggling over ATM cards, didn't understand it, couldn't understand it. How does that happen? How does that work? And I want you to think about this. 10 years ago, we didn't know anything about PayPal and Cash App, and maybe we did, but Venmo, and now I even have to wonder, does even cash exist? Because what we do is almost an exchange for goods and services through Venmo. Does it even exist? Do cash? Yes, of course it does. But when you're using it that much. So I want you to prepare for the technology shift that is coming. Because these missing scientists, bless them, because what they've also done is they've opened doors that are paving the way for new technology to come about. It may not happen tomorrow, and it may not happen next month, maybe not even next year, but it's going to happen. And I want you to prepare yourself for what could and can happen. Because there's so much technology out here that it can be so helpful. So I hope this has helped you, my darlings, and I hope it's not been too cryptid. But these missing people, the unfortunate part is that door was opened enough. It was cracked open enough that it just collectively just happened. It seemed like all at once. It wasn't. It took some time to get there. But now, my darlings, we have the chance that we can take a breath, know it's going to be okay. And I want you to look forward to the future, because this, my darlings, is certainly not the end. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.